Welcome back to the Redline podcast. I'm with my friend Justin here. We got KillaKev with us to discuss NBA stuff.
And the Spike King.
Obviously, the Spike King.
This is a little impromptu KillaKev just walking in right now. And this is perfect timing for him for the NBA. He's like our NBA guy at Ride the Wave Media. He's got it all, man. So
yes, sir.
Let's see what we got here.
So to start off, probably going to talk about free agents coming up. We did hear a lot about Kemba Walker coming to the Celtics.
There's a Woj bomb this morning.
Yeah, possible 4-year deal, $141 million.
Yep.
But if he doesn't come, there's a lot of different options because he very well could sign with another team if he wants to, go to LA or something.
Start off with that.
Yeah.
KillaKev, what do you think about Kemba Walker coming to Boston?
I think Kemba Walker coming to Boston would be more than ideal in comparison to Kyrie Irving. Them being drafted the same year. Kemba Walker had a better season last year than Kyrie Irving, played a full 82 games.
Average 26, 25?
Average 25.6, so almost 4 points more than Kyrie Irving. Had a little less field goal, however, did much more for his team than Kyrie could possibly contribute.
Yeah, definitely. He showed more heart to definitely to the Hornets.
And it's MJ's fault that Kemba Walker hasn't exceeded anywhere in Charlotte for the past. He was drafted in 2011, same year as Kyrie Irving.
They just can't put a freaking team around him.
MJ is the worst at his job. President of basketball operations,
except for maybe Phil Jackson when he was on the Knicks.
Yeah,
that was terrible.
Phil Jackson was also burnt out of many years of championship, and Jeannie Buss. I heard she takes up a lot of stress of his life because they're married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you wanted to say something about Kemba?
I agree with him. Kemba Walker's more than ideal.
Yeah,
he's a beast.
I think he'd complement the rest of the team more because you don't really see Kemba Walker wanting the limelight whatsoever. No. I mean, he's obviously a scorer, but I feel like he can take that role and let Jason Tatum and Brown.
He also moves the ball. He averaged 6 assists this season.
Yeah,
and we need a guy that can move the ball around. And
the only comparison to Kyrie I have a problem with is just I feel like there's an asterisk over his name because he's in Charlotte, and you do obviously all your stats are gonna rise because you're in Charlotte. There's nobody who the fuck's in Charlotte. Nobody.
But I think that with Kemba Walker, what's the difference between him and Kyrie is that Kemba is going to love the atmosphere at the TD Garden.
He's going to love the fans.
Yeah, he's going to accept, and we talked about this off the record here, off the podcast, but it was just Kyrie never came in and adopted that Celtics culture. He never became a Celtic, and I think Kemba coming in here, especially if he gets paid, and when we talk about this too, the Celtics rarely get free agents coming to Boston, and I think Kemba Walker could be that guy that comes in, takes it over, accepts the Celtics culture, wants to play with his team. Think about some of the fans. UConn. He went to UConn. Not that far away in New England here in Boston.
Bring him back to New England.
So you're going to have something you're going to have a bunch of UConn jerseys in the stands, bro. You're going to have that UConn atmosphere too. I just think that this is a step up from Charlotte because of Boston, what it is.
A couple steps up. Him
and Gordon Hayward kind of coming together would be a great thing going forward with Marcus Smart. I think that would be a huge signing. And you get Kemba Walker, they will make the finals next year.
If you heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
You think Woj said 4.8 or it was something 4.8 million exemption or whatever to get that big man. This team can automatically already compete for the East already.
To get past Giannis, you're gonna need a big man to protect the rim because that's really 80% of his game is just getting to the rim. That's it.
Taco Fall.
Taco Fall.
Don't care about your small ball league, baby. I care about big men. 7'7", just put them right under that rim. Let everyone else deal with it. Just keep them on defense. They can play. They can have the power play 4 and 5. I don't care on offense. Have 4 guys there. Taco Fall, just stay on the other side of the court.
Spike
Rebound.
King's eyes light up a little bit.
Rebound there, bro. Rebound because Taco Fall's the big man. The big men win championships, man. You have to have a big man there.
If I'm not mistaken, I think he might be the tallest player ever drafted, with the exception of Manute Bol.
Well, he was never drafted.
Yeah, he was undrafted.
Oh, so
yes, they signed him. But right now, the tallest player in the NBA is 7'2". So it's like, dude, you have the tallest guy. Put him on Brad Stevens.
I think it's 7'3".
Or 7'3".
But Bogdan Marjanovic or whatever. I think he's on a 6.
Marjanovic.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And then if not Carson Edwards, if Taco Fall isn't that guy, you can trade for a guy like Steven Adams from the Thunder, and then
with the amazing hook shot and flick shot under the rim.
There was a report today that there was a 3-team trade between Philly and Philly, Houston, and us with Clint Capella.
Yeah.
So that came out today. I don't know how credible.
I'm a big fan of Clint. I think he did a lot in these playoffs, and he helped the Houston Rockets win a couple games against the healthy Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think the only problem with getting Clint Capella is if Brad can actually translate that to actual like winning, like, you know, big man type of lineup, because Brad, the only reason we haven't gone and got like a Dwight Howard or somebody like that, or Andre Drummond, is because he doesn't shoot the three, and I think that's just a really, really dumb reason not to go get a guy, because if you can get Clint Capella, like him and if we get Kemba Walker, him and Kemba Walker on the pick and roll would be unreal.
Just like Kyrie and Al.
Yeah. That's
much more athletic than Al.
Yeah, yes. That's one thing I did like about this past season. Kyrie and Al, when they were like clicking, that pick and roll was like unstoppable. But
I think Taco Fall, he averaged 11 points, 7 rebounds. I would love to see that translate over there.
Taco Fall is a great marketing tool for the Celtics, man. Yeah. You wanna. My big thing with the Celtics and NBA, I don't understand the small ball thing, and I don't really care about it. I care about rebounding, offensive and defensive rebounds. Why did the Celtics lose in 2010 to the Lakers? Because Perkins got hurt. They had no one to rebound the ball. I feel like this team has been out-rebounded almost every game for the last decade. I want that tall guy. I want someone big. I'm waiting for the next true big man out there that just is a beast, dude. I just think that Taco Fall, just think about another addition. You got Kemba Walker. He's going to accept that Celtic culture. For sure. That everyone's going to love him. You already have the guys that have already been established. Even with Terry Rozier, that's a whole different story. I don't like Terry. I just think that he's cancer to the locker room. But that's a whole different story. But he's a marketable guy. Scary Terry. Marcus Smart. Gordon Hayward. But my thing with Taco Fall is I will go to every game wearing a taco costume, dude. Yeah. Taco Tuesdays, dude. The taco stand in the crowd, man. I'm telling you, if this guy can hit all his free throws, I'll give everyone in the stadium a taco that night, dude. I just think it's just fun. It's something that, again, it's chemistry, and it's just something that gets the fans going. So,
I kind of found what was interesting about this past draft, talking about big men, was Bol falling to the second round, getting picked up by the Heat, and then getting traded to Denver. And I think Denver is going to be great the next couple of years, within the next couple of years. And Michael Porter Jr. He's
if his back stays good.
Yeah, if his back stays good, I like Michael Porter Jr. He was a steal at 15 last year. He is a project now that his back is he had surgery on there. But
I hope Bol can stay healthy. But being a big man like that, it's very negatively affects your body. Like a guy like that, his father didn't have a big career in the NBA, but did as much as he can. And people who tend to be over 7'2" have an average lifespan in the NBA about 5 years. And we could remember Roy Hibbert back in 2013 meeting the Eastern Conference Finals, and he was exceptional. And he did a great job there. And the year after that, his numbers just kept going down. And he couldn't shoot the three. And he just got pushed out of the Pacers and played for the Lakers for that Kobe's one of Kobe's last couple years. And now he's not in the league anymore. So we have to keep Bol in consideration and whatever their medical staff does over there to keep him healthy. The same thing with Taco Fall. We have to keep him healthy. And like the Spike King said earlier, he's a great marketing tool for the Celtics. And he's going to sell lots of jerseys, and he's going to put asses in seats because people are going to want to see Taco Fall. People are going to want to see the Spike King in a taco suit, taco costume. They want to see those things. They want to be a part of it. So I just think his numbers won't correlate with the hype around him. But hopefully so, he will be able to have a double-double every game.
Yeah. The only thing with those type of players, those guys over 7'3", they're usually skinny guys, And Taco Fall really isn't like when you look at him, like he's not
big.
he's got some meat on him. Like he's not like one of those like like Bull like a Manute Bull. Like I think his game could really translate. I think if you can get like I think when you're that big, I think it's all mentally at that point to be aggressive when you're defending people. Because if you have that body type, you are 7'7", and you can be aggressive in the NBA. That's literally all you need. Yeah. Like to be like
Sean
a
Bradley, lots of
big
people.
man.
We're a successful big man, just like you said. And I have a proposition here. He's not on the free agent list. However, he's a hometown kid right here from the city of Everett who would love to play for the Boston Celtics. And if we could ever get a trade to get Nerlens Noel in the TD Garden,
yes.
He's this free agent, though. This is the free agent list, right?
Yes.
Right here, Nerlens Noel, number 29.
Yep.
I did not see that there. Yes.
No.
I think that's a priority.
That is something also, Kev, that I saw too, and I wanted to harp on this before you even came on here. Nerlens Noel having that hometown guy here. Bring him in as well. Because, again, if you get a Kemba with the UConn and then you get a Nerlens Noel with the Everett Crimson Tide that's like attached to that,
because
you're going to have the marketing. Taco too.
Like literally right now, we have the talent to go to the finals and possibly win a championship, especially now because the league is wide open. I mean, with the exception of like LA and obviously Anthony Davis.
LA
and
now
LeBron.
has a clear shot with all the Warriors.
Yeah,
They have four players as of this morning.
If LA doesn't go to the finals, that looks so bad for LeBron. Unless something crazy happens with maybe like Houston, they get like a couple players. But like as of right now, the Lakers should be in the finals. And within the East, if Kawhi goes to the Clippers, I think the East is wide open.
If Kawhi leaves the East, it opens the doors even more.
Yeah, I think the chemistry now that Kyrie's gone, the gear should be turning now next season. Like, oh, okay, like now we got the cancer out of the locker room. We can with
Terry and Kyrie
get back to business. Terry ended up being a cancer near the end of the season where he was like felt entitled to he very entitled after his great postseason. To be fair, did not show up in the Game 7. Everybody forgets about that. I didn't.
Eric Bledsoe made him his bitch after Terry Rozier made him his bitch last year. They switched off this year, and we expected much more from Terry against Bledsoe.
Yeah, it just I don't think he's quite as bad as he was this year, but he's not as good as he was in the playoffs, definitely.
And touching up on the Toronto thing, so I believe that Kawhi has nothing else. There's nothing else waiting for him in Toronto. There's nothing else he could do there. He already brought him a championship. Next year, if he stays, all right, and they don't win, which is a high possibility that they don't win next year because it's so hard for a team to go back-to-back. It's only happened a handful of times. And especially with a team like that, the exception of the Warriors being hurt, they would never be able to run that back with a healthy team. Maybe now with the Klay Thompson and KD hurt, maybe they could run it back. However, Kawhi is from the LA area. His family is there. His friends is there. He has a beautiful home there. I think he was going to the Clippers, and I think he could reinforce the Clippers squad, as this year they're already great without an all-star.
Definitely.
The best player was Danilo Gallinari. That was their best player this year, and I'm a big Danilo Gallinari fan ever since he was with the Knicks, and he was underestimated. And I think he's prospering right now. And I think Kawhi should go to the Clippers because there's nothing for him left to prove in Toronto. He gave Canada what they all wished for in the last 40 years of their lives.
And just saying that Kawhi also has one up on LeBron. Spurs beat the Heat
with Kawhi guarding LeBron.
Yeah, so
as a 22-year-old.
And that just I love the LA versus LA type of matchup.
He's
Clippers and Lakers.
The dynasty slayer Kawhi is.
Yeah. So how funny, and he's the quiet guy. So how funny would it be if the Clippers go in there?
He's the fun guy.
But you go in there at the All-Star break and the Clippers are ahead of the Lakers. At the All-Star break, it's just something fun for the league.
I'd be if Kawhi went to the Clippers. I'd definitely be rooting for the Clippers because the Clippers have literally been the second fiddle in LA for the longest time, and it's always been Lakers.
And Lou Williams just won his third Sixth Player of the Year award.
Yeah.
Back to back.
But the Clippers,
Jamal Crawford.
But going on that, the Clippers have been close in recent years with Chris Paul and Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
They tried doing that.
They've been close.
And Doc Rivers is a good coach. I like him. I know a lot of people might say oh well, he won that one championship with the Celtics. He went again, and that was it. But I believe Doc is a great coach for someone like Kawhi. I believe that's someone that Kawhi can buy into him.
The only reason that Clippers squad with Blake Griffin and Chris Paul and DeAndre Jordan never succeeded is because they always caught the Warriors in the first round of the playoffs. Always. For 2 years in a row, first round of the playoffs. And they were up 3-1, and they blew a 3-1 lead. A series before, the Warriors blew
Against
a 3-1
Houston,
lead.
right? If I'm not mistaken, the 3-1.
3-1 was against the Warriors, no? Was it?
No, I think it was Houston.
I think it was Houston.
Regardless,
Okay.
it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. They still blew a
Okay.
3-1.
Yeah.
But still, they caught teams at the wrong time.
The wrong
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's just
And it's
chance.
injury too. Like Chris Paul, like his hand's been an issue for like a really long
And
time.
that actually showed with
Blake-
Houston, because Houston not this past season, the season before that, they were up 3-2 on the Warriors, and Chris Paul was hurt Game 6, and I believe Game 7, like he was like hurt towards the end for Houston, where it should have been Houston and Boston.
Kawhi has the chance to be the first player ever to win Finals MVP for 3 different franchises.
And that's something that
crazy.
LeBron should have done. Like,
Yeah.
in a way. Like, LeBron should have that one
that'd be
for,
crazy.
for Cleveland, for Miami, and he should have that for, say, the Lakers.
Yeah, but the Lakers squad isn't a championship squad. Like, I'm tired of seeing LeBron suffer the consequences of executive failure, right? So Rob Pelinka, what he's doing over there, I'm not sure what he's doing behind doors. He ran Magic up out of there, and everybody wanted Magic there. So these executives need to set up a good squad around him, put him around great players so he could succeed. Because we've seen it happen numerous times in Cleveland in 2007, and in Cleveland after Kyrie in his return to Cleveland. You have to have a good squad around this
That's
guy.
LeBron's fault, though.
It is not his fault.
That is his fault, because LeBron...
Tell me why it's his fault.
Why is it LeBron's fault? Because LeBron will just, like... He goes into, say, Cleveland. He runs that organization. He's the one putting those players on the team.
So who's getting
LeBron
paid
runs any
hundreds of
organization
thousands
he
of
goes
dollars
to.
a year to get these paperwork done, to reach out to players, to sign these free agents? That's not LeBron's job. LeBron's job is to go out on the court. He
LeBron
does
has-
enough on and off the court to have to worry about free agents and who to sign. And now with these new laws and that he can't reach out to players certain times of the years, that's scouting.
But you don't think that LeBron has a major influence on what goes on the
He
team?
is not a scouter.
But LeBron is the reason why the Lakers are just taking everybody out of there.
He
Like,
is not the reason.
He is absolutely the reason.
He is
for
not
that.
the reason. The reason that people are taken out of there because it has to be done. For them to sign Anthony Davis, they had to get rid of Lonzo Ball. They had to get rid of
Yeah,
Brandon
but you don't
Ingram.
think LeBron is telling the organization, like, go get Anthony Davis
He
and
better
go make it happen?
be. He better
Yeah,
be.
no, I'm saying that's why
better
he has a big influence on that.
He has a big-
LeBron's major thing that he hasn't had is coaching around
If
him.
LeBron doesn't say anything, it doesn't get done.
The only coach that LeBron's had was Spoelstra, and Spoelstra was only a coach. He was a puppet to fucking Pat Riley.
Spoelstra was a great coach because his father was a great NBA legend, executive office legend who was very successful.
Spoelstra was a video guy that made video graphics for the Miami
His father,
Heat.
if I'm not mistaken, his father was an NBA exec who had a very successful career. Eric Spoelstra knew what he was doing, and he was a great coach, and still is till this day. Never lost his job. He has a great relationship with Pat Riley. Pat Riley is on his way out, but he's still very respected. Eric Spoelstra is a great coach, and LeBron still got it done with Mario Chalmers running his point guard.
I just love, no matter what, I love LeBron. He's one of the greatest players of all time.
He's not a scouter.
I just feel like he has too much influence on teams that hurts him at the end of the day.
All right, let's get back to the Celtics. I like that little rant right there.
Yeah.
But let's move on to a possible, if not Kemba Walker, which is highly unlikely because I think we will sign Kemba Walker. But if not,
When Woj says it, it happens.
Yeah, Woj bombs, like you said. The Woj bomb.
yeah, a possible IT reunion to the Celtics.
I think Woj has more influence than LeBron.
IT back to the Celtics. I mean, how much you paying him? What capacity is he playing? Is he going to be the sixth man again?
I put him at 6. He's not.
I couldn't, because when you put him in the starting role, he's gonna get that. He'll have like a 30-point game, and then he'll get like a huge head again, like he did when he first came here, and then he'll.
I predict a 30% field goal percentage.
For IT next season?
For IT next season, I think it's equivalent to when Allen Iverson returned to Philly after having his passage.
So
in
you think
Denver.
he's gonna come back to Boston?
Do I think he will come back? If he does come back,
If he does.
it will be a terrible mistake on the part of the Celtics.
To be fair, they were starting him in Philly, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
compare it to many relationships that I've seen in my life, where the girlfriend breaks up with the boyfriend. The boyfriend tries to get another girl, and it never really works out. Comes back to the girlfriend, but nothing's never the same. IT should not return to the Celtics. If he was to do so, it will be a terrible mistake. He'll shoot a 30% field goal. They won't make the playoffs. If he's the main guy,
You wouldn't even take him off the bench?
No, I've watched him play for the past 2 years in the NBA. I watched him be LeBron's point guard for a while. I seen they had their battles.
To not even have him as a six man though.
As a side to Kemba Walker?
As a 12th man.
12th man? I think I would take him as a 6th man, coming off kind of like that Terry Rozier spot.
An emotional attachment, I understand. I understand. But
we do have a pretty emotional attachment.
Yeah, we do.
Everyone does. I do too, and I did for a long time. But at the end of the day, his prime is now gone. It's over.
He doesn't seem to think that, though.
His hip is messed up. I also have a bad hip right here. I have surgery right there, and I understand what he's going through.
Kept showing his battle wounds right now.
Yeah.
I understand what he's going through, and it's hard for him to get around at 5'8", 5'9" and a half to take those big steps, to take those big step backs as he did for us in the 2015, 2016 season, And
he averaged 28.
He averaged 28. He's the greatest player in the East, in my opinion. For a little guy, pound for pound, the greatest battler out there on the basketball court.
For sure.
But, we don't have much to lose now that Kyrie's gone, okay? So basically, we cheated on Isaiah Thomas with Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving then cheated on us, and now we're trying to run back to our ex, who's Isaiah Thomas, and it's not going to work out. Yeah. It's not going to work out. And I actually predict, 30% field goal percentage. If he does indeed come back, it will sell a lot of jerseys. People will go to the preseason game. People will go to the opening game to go watch him. But he doesn't have the same love for the organization.
Another marketing tool.
Yeah,
Spike King loves that.
No, but I might somewhat agree here with KillaKev because you want to think about your future. And you bring Isaiah Thomas back in, and Isaiah, at the end of that run with the Celtics, he was the top guy. You don't want him coming in here thinking he's still the top guy, because this is going to slowly.
And I think he might. I agree with you if he does.
But this is going to be slowly Jason Tatum's team, and that's what they have to start looking for.
Yeah.
You need to build it around. Again, just like we talked about in a Red Sox podcast, was about sign Mookie Betts, keep Mookie Betts. You want him to be the main guy.
Yeah.
This needs to be focused around Jason Tatum. You bring Isaiah Thomas in. Now you got Thomas. Now you got Terry Rozier. You got Tatum. Hey, there's too much of who actually controls the team.
Terry Rozier is going to be gone if we sign Kemba Walker.
Yeah, I want him gone. I don't want him. I don't want him here.
Because then we have to get rid of
But I think by signing Kemba Walker, I don't think that takes the team away from Jason Tatum.
Yeah, so that's another thing too.
That's why I like that signing.
I like Kemba too. I think they can coexist together. But I'm just saying, then if you bring Isaiah Thomas in, and he knows the love and respect he's going to get out of that Celtics crowd, he's going to say, "This is my team." Yeah. Not saying that Isaiah Thomas is that person, but it just sends the wrong signals, and it might ruin a chemistry. Just like this past year, whose team was it? Look at the Eastern Conference Finals, Game 7. Kyrie was nowhere there, and Gordon Hayward was nowhere there. The next year, Kyrie feels like, this is my team. Well, wait a minute. Terry Rozier carried the load. Jason Terry carried the load. It just ruined their chemistry. So I kind of agree with that. It might not be good for the Celtics to just go back and get somebody in there. It's like going back to Paul Pierce at the end of his career and bringing him back because everyone loves the nostalgia.
Yeah.
And someone we have to take in consideration, aside his lackluster of threes, Rajon Rondo. I'd much rather have a Rajon Rondo.
That's what I was saying too. Yeah.
Than Isaiah Thomas.
What about a D Rose?
I think D Rose. I wouldn't want him.
I don't think I'd want D Rose either.
Wherever he goes, but he doesn't. If we're trying to rebuild here. We're trying to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
A quick rebuild.
Quick one maybe 2 year rebuild. It's not really because we have talent still.
You look at the entire Eastern Conference. Don't care about the West. Look at the Eastern Conference, and you look at the teams. What's going to happen with Philadelphia this offseason?
We're going to own them again.
No matter what, you're going to end up owning them. Then you look at Toronto, they're going to lose Kawhi. So they're not going to be the same team at all. They're losing that out. The only team that stays the same is Milwaukee. That's the team that's going to still be up there. Then now I just named three teams.
Actually, no. They might not be able to, because I think another team might be signing them to they'll offer them 17, maybe possibly 20 mil, and Chris Middleton's asking for a max deal. Chris Middleton, he's good.
Saying
he's not a max player.
Giannis, just him alone. Yeah. He is the MVP. I give them the respect. I'm just gonna put them at number 1, no matter what. Just because they have him there.
They have a lot. They have a lot of effort players too, and I feel like in the East, if you put in effort, you're gonna be first in the East, just like the Atlanta Hawks were that 1 year.
But name the 3. Just name them off the top of your head. Name the 3 teams that were 8, 7, and 6 last year in the Eastern Conference. It was the Nets, it was the Heat, and it was Orlando.
Oh no, Heat didn't make it.
It was Orlando, the Nets, and one other. There's one other team there.
Yeah,
whatever. But just saying those names.
Regardless, doesn't matter.
Irregardless, the Celtics next year should be better than those teams, no matter what. Even if it's a rebuild.
You're Danny Ainge. If Philadelphia asks for a sit down and they put Tobias Harris on the table, are you willing to give up Marcus Smart for a player like Tobias Harris?
No.
Nope.
No. I think Tobias Harrison like the second tier of free agents.
He's good.
But
I'm not giving up
Marcus
Marcus Smart because he's the soul of the team.
He defines what a Celtic is. He defines Celtics basketball.
I agree.
And that's
And
why
I
wouldn't
feel
get
like
rid of
people do really underrate that, and they bring out the stats and it's like, oh, his 3-point percentage. I get it. I don't want him shooting threes anymore. I think Brad should just take him aside, just like, hey, Smart, stop shooting fucking threes. Just don't do it anymore.
I think if Milwaukee makes any changes to their team during this offseason, Philly gets by them and makes it to the finals. If they keep their core players and us, I believe that Philadelphia 76ers with a healthy Jimmy Butler, JJ Redick.
Jimmy Butler they're looking to sign and trade with you know Spike King, you know?
No, I'm just saying don't listen to
Jimmy
KillaKev.
Butler's
He's the
out
same
there.
guy that
Sign and trade
said
with Houston.
he's the same guy that said the Warriors were going to win 4-1.
Everybody talks during the offseason. It's just business, but I believe he stays. Al Horford was in some talks. Everybody's in some talks with something. And free agency is an open market for everybody.
I think Al's just ring chasing at this point. That's the only
Go
reason he
do it.
really
Go
wants
He
to
will
leave.
never get a ring. Al Horford will never get a ring, but he's unathletic. He's like a statue on the court. You ever see that
Well,
guy?
I mean, maybe not leading a team, but he could like go on a team and just get a ring. Anybody can go on a team.
But I'm here in Dallas.
Jeremy Lin has a
Karl
ring
Malone
before
was
Melo.
unsuccessful. Draymond, DeMarcus Cousins was unsuccessful. I believe Al Horford can't just hop on a team and win a chip. We don't know who's going to win a chip next year.
That's true. Well, he can still contribute. That's the thing. He can be a really good third man. I think he's going to be if he can be a part of like a big three, like a third, kind of like a Chris Bosh type of player, because he can still he can still bang.
I think people aren't even thinking about the Mavericks yet. I think with Kristaps Porzingis now around Luka Doncic's passing vision, it's going to bring them to the upper tier of the playoffs.
I think if they sign like
get
a
a good
solid free agent this year with them too.
They've been in a lot of conversations with signing another top free agent.
Where's Covington at right now? Do you guys know?
Robert, he is in Minnesota.
He's in the Minnesota Timberwolves. What a waste.
Yeah, I know. It is anybody who goes to Minnesota is just. I mean, look at KG. He wasted basically his entire career and just barely. Like he even said like to. And he was talking to Anthony Davis. He's like, I wish I left sooner. Like you can't leave soon enough to like a dysfunctional franchise.
And he was around a bunch of underwhelming players.
Yeah, they made a couple playoff runs, but like
Yeah, they had Zach LaVine a couple years back, who's doing well on the Chicago Bulls now.
I said it. I said after he tore his ACL, I was like, "Watch, Zach LaVine isn't just a dunker where all his athletic ability is just like that's his game."
And Andrew Wiggins to me needs to step up so he can have a great career. But I think he's too comfortable.
Andrew Wiggins won't. He's not going to be anything. I'm sorry.
I thought he was the next Kobe.
He's.
If he stayed on the Cavs, I think they could have did something with him with LeBron.
Yeah, maybe.
Since this is just NBA talk now, and not specifically Celtics, Zion, and what do you think what the New Orleans Pelicans are going to end up doing with that team?
I think he's as a number one pick. He's entered the best situation anyone's ever entered as a number one pick. The guys he's around are experienced guys. They've been in the league for 4+ years. The only thing they need to do to make sure they prosper is get Julius Randle the fuck out of there.
Yeah, I don't think they're signing back Julius Randle.
I don't think so either.
I think they're going to free up as much cap space as they can to sign like some...
I think Julius Randle is a skinnier version of Jared Sullinger.
And look where he is.
Nowhere.
Actually, look at the McDonald's down the street. You show me the new quarter pounder they got.
Enes Kanter was actually comparing Zion to Julius Randle, saying he was basically a more athletic Julius Randle or something.
And Julius Randle dropped 45 on Enes Kanter last time they clutched heads.
Which when I commented on that post, I was like, wait, is that really an insult though? Because
that's a career high, 45 points. One player guarding you, yeah.
Yeah, because
Enes Kanter doesn't know what he's talking about. He can barely speak English.
I mean, because Zion is a good player. Like, obviously, his athletic ability is the thing that
looks like a defensive lineman playing basketball.
Yeah, he elevates him to the next level. But I mean, to be a Zion Williamson without athletic ability, it's not like necessarily a bad thing. Like Julius, that's still a solid player. Julius Randle is a solid player. I don't think he was like insulting him necessarily, but it wasn't saying something good about him.
Yeah. And Zion as well, having this team around him, he won't have so much of a load on his shoulders. A lot of these number one picks ends up going on a really bad team and ends up playing 48 minutes a game.
Yeah.
And by the third year, their knees are their joints are worn out, and they can't get up as much as they used to. Look at Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady, and they were never around these great players. I'm not saying the Pelicans have great players, however.
I think they have good players, though.
Yeah, they have good players, and it's not going to be so much of a weight on Zion.
What's their goal this year then? Like, if you're the Pelicans,
Make
what's
the
your
playoffs.
actions?
To make
What seeding, then?
8 seed, but if they make it between 8th, 9th, and 10th seed, I'll consider it a successful season without Anthony Davis.
Get
Even
that
if they
team
don't
going.
make the playoffs, because the year after that, they definitely will make the playoffs. But this year, I expect
Like,
nothing but
you
the
know
playoffs.
how
I
big the
think,
Western Conference is right now and how many players they've gotten. It's like, they're not going to win
Well,
a
we
championship.
can name them all. Let's start
But
with...
no. But I'm just saying that they're not going to make the championship this year in the Western Conference. And I feel like the Pelicans, if they even a 6th seed, is like a huge success for them.
Yeah.
A huge success.
I
Start
think-
getting playoff experience now.
Yeah.
Start getting it now for the Young Bucks.
And Lonzo's shot's going to get much better. I hope he's working on it right now as we speak. Summertime.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing for Zion to do, going into the NBA, get a consistent jump shot. If Blake Griffin had got a consistent jump shot when he first got into the league like he does now, he would be a top 5 player in the league. I have no doubt. Because now his knees are basically almost gone. He can still dunk, but he's definitely not as explosive as he.
And I think
first
Zion's
got in the league.
weakness that nobody seemed to talk about is his 3-point shooting. And he was the bare minimum at that with the NCAA 3-point line. And now this year they just moved it back a couple feet.
Yeah.
And I think if he played this year in the NCAA, he would have made a 3. We're going to see how his long-range shot is going to go. But switching topics real quick, going back on the Celtics, I think a player that we need to keep our eyes on, who we need to keep, because I've been following for quite some time, and I follow a couple trainers on Instagram as well, off-season trainers who help these guys work on their game. And some guy who's always in the gym, who's always working on his game, is Semi Ojeleye.
Semi Ojeleye, something about his contract came out today. I think he was getting re-signed.
If we could keep him at a low contract, like $7 million a year,
the Giannis stopper.
He is the Giannis stopper. He's a great athletic guy, and one guy we need to get rid of. Listen, I used to valet at a 5-star steakhouse in Boston, and I used to valet all these famous basketball players. And one guy who I never missed, every night he used to come in and eat steak and fill his gut and come back to his car. His car is full of McDonald's wrappers, empty McDonald's fries packaging.
Gershon
Yabusele. I knew it.
Gershon Yabusele. We need to get that guy out of here. He does not belong in the NBA right now.
Was he the 22nd pick?
The worst.
He was the 22nd pick, I think.
42nd pick.
He shouldn't have been drafted at all.
Shouldn't have been drafted.
So a guy like Taco Falls goes undrafted, but Gershon goes 22nd.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Gershon, terrible player, man.
He
terrible lifestyle, unhealthy, doesn't get it done on the court. Watched him in the preseason, shot a terrible field goal percentage in the preseason, missing layups left and right, slow to get around the court, can't get up and down.
He's too big.
I mean,
Has to dye his hair blonde just so he could get a little bit of notoriety because nobody gives a hell.
Oh, and dab when he hits a jump shot.
Yeah,
hits the dab.
Yep.
Like it's
Yeah.
2012.
Gershon Yabusele.
But I think saying Gershon Yabusele could be good in any manner is like saying like Bruno Caboclo.
Bruno Caboclo is very underestimated. He's a Brazilian player, and I'm in love with Brazilian players because we don't get a lot of them coming in the NBA. And Bruno Caboclo, his first game in the NBA for the Toronto Raptors, he had 2 3-pointers, had 2 blocks, and he caught a beautiful alley-oop. And everybody in Toronto was cheering, and that was DeMar DeRozan.
The Brazilian KD, they call him.
The Brazilian KD, and right now he's working on his game and he's getting better. And I still think Bruno Caboclo one day can make it as an all-star
in the China League.
Bruno Caboclo will return to the NBA, as many players have gone to China and return.
Yeah, just look at Jared Sullinger.
No,
he's down the street right now.
A lot of good players went to China
right now.
I can't think of them on the top of my head right now, but a lot of players did go to China and return and do well in the NBA. But most of the players are right. About 90% of the players who go to China never return. Who?
OJ Mayo.
OJ Mayo had a drug problem.
Baby.
OJ Mayo had a drug problem.
Well,
he had a cocaine problem, an alcohol problem, and
what league? I don't even think he went to the China League. He went to I don't even know what league he went to.
He went somewhere where drugs are legal.
Yeah.
Amsterdam League.
Amsterdam League. But another free agent I wanted to touch on was Thaddeus Young. Do you think he'd be a good addition to the team, and what do you think his contract would go for?
I love Thaddeus Young. His time with the 76ers back then, great time. I think he's a great player. He's strong. He's tall. He knows how to play ball. He could hit the 3 range. I don't know how much he's expecting to get paid, but I think that'd be a great addition to the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, I really like that. Athletic forwards that can bang down on the post. I think that's really useful, especially with the Celtics when
Tobias
we
Harris?
really don't. Yeah,
I just think Tobias Harris
is going to be asking for too much money,
too much.
and I'm not going to have another Gordon Hayward contract on the books.
Yeah. Speaking of Gordon Hayward, do you guys think he makes more of a jump
a little bit step up this season?
No, I think that Gordon Hayward, after having that gruesome injury the first year in the first game, it was crazy. Coming back last year, it took him a while, but you got to give him a lot of credit towards the end of the stretch and going into the playoffs that he started getting back to the game.
We talked about it on episode 1 when it was a game, and it was just a little thing. He dove for the ball going out of bounds, and the crowd went crazy. That's what Boston respects in a player, and I feel like he just had to get the confidence back.
The big thing, though, is Brad Stevens and Hayward. I mean, they have history together going back to Butler. So,
and I think that if he is becomes he's the okay player throughout the season, and he's you just finally realize all right, he's not going to come back. I'm not saying he won't come back, but he's not going to come back to the player
But he's
close to the player.
It's learning a role too, because again, you play for Utah. He's the main guy out there. That's what you just said about Kemba.
Coming with Kyrie.
It's just the number one guy, right? So I think Gordon is.
It's hard to take the step back and
exactly right there. This is not going to. And I know we talked a little bit earlier about whose team is going to be. It's not, and it's never going to be Gordon's team. Never will be. But he starts learning a role. He starts getting comfortable, and I think towards the end of the season, that's when he starts getting comfortable. Now you take the off season, you build a chemistry up with the players around you, and you kind of know what your role is going forward in the 2019-20 season.
I think that year out, where he injured himself in the first game, where he had to sit out a year, I think that messed him up cardiovascularly, right? So this guy...
he lost his quickness, too.
Everything. So I was watching the other day Kobe Bryant's 81-point game, right? And he was playing against the Utah Jazz. And Gordon Hayward, just his chest was just skinny. He was athletic. And when he came back to the Celtics, his first game for the Celtics, he still looked like that guy. That 1 year sitting at home at the doctor's office.
Couldn't run.
Now you see him, his chest is popping out. He walks around like this because his lungs, he can't really get back. And he's trying. I understand he's trying. There's a possibility that, he will never regain his elite player possibilities, and it's so much different than I was watching that 81-point Kobe game, and he just looks like a whole different person, man. It's a very sad subject in me, and I just think we need to wait for his contract to go out and get him out of here.
When
does his contract end? I'm sorry.
I want to say I think it's a player option, right?
Yeah, it's a player option.
Yeah,
next year.
Hopefully he won't be just an absolute.
I disagree with you. I think that he'll come back. Sometimes
I don't think he'll ever be the same player he was in Utah, but I think he can be.
He can find his role here. He's not going to be a max contract player. Just like Al Horford is not the max contract player. It's going to be. And I feel like that.
The only thing that makes me mad that us having Gordon Hayward is because we're paying him so much money. I feel like Brad has needs to start him or force his way into the starting lineup or give him as many minutes as you can.
Overpaid.
And you can't do that. And that's also another thing that hurt the team this season. You can't force a guy into the lineup if he's just not gelling with the rest of the lineup. And sometimes he did.
And that's what he did. He force-fed Gordon Hayward minutes.
Yeah, you can't force-feed a guy, especially coming off of injury minutes, just because you're paying him a bunch of money.
I was just going to say, that's what I kind of like about Stevens is he tries new things all the time. Don't stick with one thing. Even if it fails, try it.
I love Brad Stevens, but I think his rotations this year were pretty bad.
At Gordon Hayward's defense, he did deserve the money at the time. At the moment,
at the time,
yes.
But now you're going to look back on it though. It's not going to be worth it.
I've said this multiple times on the show. I was very big on Blake Griffin when he was a free agent too. I was like, we should go for Blake Griffin. Get that guy. Get that athletic guy.
I was seeing photoshops of him in the Celtics uniform, and he looked super sexy.
It was an interesting thing I saw. He and Gordon Hayward had the same 3-point percentage coming out of that season. The same exact 3-point percentage. And they were saying Gordon Hayward's a better shooter. I'm just like, is he though? I mean, he probably maybe with the mid range, but Blake Griffin
took his game to another level.
And now you see him in Detroit, and now he
scored 50 points.
Yeah, despite the injury, he scored 50 points this season. He looks like he's a completely new player. Like, he's not that athletic guy you got out of the draft where he's just like Lob City in LA. Like, no, he's more of like an Anthony Davis type of player where he doesn't have to use his athletic ability.
Now he has a better fadeaway shot, a better 3-point shot.
He can shoot the 3-ball now. He could shoot the 3-ball.
Yes, very well.
I remember a play when we played the Pistons, and Blake Griffin kind of drives in mid range, and then sees Marcus Smart's on him, backs up, and then turns around, not even facing the basket, turns around and just pulls a 3 and just drains it right in Smart's face. And then a couple plays later, he's 3 feet out on Marcus Smart, just drains it right in his face. I was like, it just made me so mad that I was like, we could have had this guy.
He's the guy.
He still
is the guy, and I think there's a good 6 years left in him, 7 years left in him.
Really is.
We could get him for the next couple years.
That's how you extend your career as a big physical type of player. Just get a jump shot. You can extend. Look at Al. You can extend your career for Al can probably extend his career for maybe 4 more years, just being a pretty good player in the NBA
because he has that mid range.
Because he has the mid range and the 3.
Bang from deep.
Yeah.
Al Horford, reminiscing in his time with the Atlanta Hawks, I went to a playoff game with the Celtics and the Atlanta Hawks, and their best player was Paul Millsap at the time, scored 46 on the Celtics. And I think I'd much rather have a Paul Millsap, who's a power forward, but could also run the 5, than Al Horford. And if some way we could make that trade happen, that'd be great, I think.
The only problem I have with that is the salary. I think Millsap's getting paid. Excuse me. Way too much. He is a good player.
He's the best player on Denver right now.
But
Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, Jokic.
Oh, Nikola Jokic is
Yeah, Jokic is definitely the best player in Denver.
It's kind of like a Tobias Harris thing where he's going to get paid a lot of money, and I feel like the team that does sign him is going to regret it down the road when you get a lot of other players that develop into being decent players. If you can give him maybe a 2 or 3 year max deal and then maybe a player option or a team option after that, then yeah. But I can't see anybody sign. I can't see a long-term deal with Tobias Harris. Same thing with Paul Millsap. He signed a pretty sizable deal with Denver, and I think unless they trade him, it's gonna screw them in the long run. Especially paying Jokic. They're gonna have to pay all these guys who are gonna chances are one of them other than Jokic is going to be great. With Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray's going to be Jamal Murray's a stud.
He had a great playoff career run, and I think that little his playoff run this year is an automatic supermax for him, or a little below supermax. But I think this playoff run really brought up his stock.
Yeah, I think with Denver, I don't know how they're gonna. If all these guys, which chances are all these guys aren't gonna turn out to be studs. Some of them are gonna be okay players, and some of them are gonna be
I think their studs are gonna be Jamal Murray and.
But I think it's gonna be Jamal Murray, Jokic, and Michael Porter or Bol Bol are gonna be those Porter. 3
if
really
he can
good
stay
guys.
healthy. If he can stay healthy.
I think Bol Bol and Jokic next to each other would be
with Millsap.
Gross. That would be insane.
A lot of these tall players, man.
Because Bol Bol is a power forward. He's not a center. I'm sorry, he's not. Because you're that skinny, you're not playing center. You're going to get eaten alive.
Out real quick. You got someone strong like a Ben Wallace would box him out, even though Ben Wallace is a foot shorter than him.
Yeah.
Even though Ben Wallace hasn't been in the league.
Draymond Green could box out Bol Bol. If you're just
But he is flimsy, yeah. So Bol Bol, I think his go-to will be a hook shot. If he can master a hook shot of some sort. If he could shoot over people at the mid-range, that will be his role there. And I hope they don't give him any more than 15, 20 minutes a game.
To start off or just in general?
Listen, man, when you're talking about a guy who's Bol Bol, who's built like his father, I think it'll be very easy for him to just break his knee while he walks down the street. A guy like that, you have to be very, very careful with. That's why a lot of these 7-footers, 7'2" from Europe, a lot of people don't pick them up because
They know their joints are gonna fail.
Yes,
sooner or
it's
later.
sad, but because that's what we want as a basketball player, a tall player, right? We all aim for tall players, but a guy like that with skinny joints and barely any muscle on his body.
That was my thing with Giannis when he first came into the league. I was like, I don't know, because when you saw him, he
put on muscle. He put on 30 pounds of
that's
muscle.
what these big guys need to do. And if I'm a big guy like that, I think like, all right, I have a chance to go to the NBA, and I'm like 15, I'm like 7 feet tall. I was like, I'm getting on HGH right now. I'll face the consequences later down the road if they
Germany.
Suspend me a couple more games.
Go to Germany, get a little size, and then come back.
Germany is the best places for HGH, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, Germany's the best places for those, man. A lot of people go to Germany in the offseason. Dirk loves Germany.
But, yeah, I think Bobo is going to be a great
Jabari Parker. I used to be a big fan of him.
Jabari Parker, yeah, he was another one I was looking at too. He's a restricted free agent, but I think they're going to drop his option. I don't think they're
going to pick up his option either.
Yeah. Okay, because I was going to say, because he did fall off for a little bit, but just like Jahlil Okafor, he could bounce back because Jahlil Okafor has bounced back.
Just so, I mean, not to number 3 overall rank, but like he's bounced back to a solid like big man, I think.
I agree, but I think solid number 3, depending on what was drafted that year. Jahlil Okafor, I think will prosper this year. He'll get a double-double. He'll have over 10 rebounds every game.
He'll be like Dwight Howard, like a modern Dwight Howard. Just getting like you said, a solid double-double.
I love Jahlil Okafor coming out of Duke.
Yeah, Jahlil Okafor. Yeah,
I love that.
He had
that Duke team that year was unbelievable.
It was.
And I thought he was going to be huge coming out of college, and it just didn't turn out that way.
Sixers drafted him, right? With all those numbers.
Yep.
They had so many picks for a couple of years.
The fact that they
did nothing there.
They really only hit on 2 out of how many they had. Like they didn't hit on Nerlens Noel, and Nerlens Noel is good, but there's other players in that draft.
Yeah.
I think the worst number 1 pick of all time.
Markelle Fultz.
You're Markelle Fultz. How about you?
I think I'm Markelle Fultz too.
Markelle Fultz?
Yep, I think so too.
No, I don't think he's worse than Anthony Bennett. Even though Markelle Fultz didn't even get to play.
Greg Oden.
Not even Greg Oden, man, because Greg Oden, the
passed
time
up on
he
Kevin
played,
Durant.
he wasn't super bad. A guy like Anthony Bennett, I forget what exactly it was, but I watched a clip on YouTube, and it was every shot he's ever took in the NBA of his NBA career, and it went game by game by game by game. Okay, and I think he shot somewhere in the 7% range. I'm telling you, he made about 8 shots out of 70 attempts.
Who was the pick after Anthony Bennett?
Can't recall any one of you.
No clue.
I will say about the Greg Oden thing, because I know you said that. It was at the time when
the Blazers just can't catch a break with their draft picks. They passed up on Michael Jordan and they passed up on Kevin Durant.
It was one of those things, though, but Greg Oden, there was talks about the Celtics getting Kevin Durant back at that draft, because I think at the time, whether it was a trade or whether it was the draft lottery, that the Celtics had a chance where Kevin Durant came here and was and Greg Oden came here to check out the facilities just in case. Greg Oden at that time was worth that pick. I just think the injuries just caught up to him. And he also undisclosed location.
That's why I think Markelle Fultz is the worst, because
another thing I will say about Greg Oden, I don't think it's necessary. It's not his fault because of injuries, but it's definitely not his fault because I read a report that when he was younger, the doctors basically said one leg is slightly shorter than the other. And that can mess up your entire career. Down the road, it'll just mess up your joints.
Yeah, much more miles on one leg than the other.
And they couldn't, and they didn't fix his leg because his mother couldn't afford it at the time.
Portland's fault for not knowing that.
The medical staff in Philadelphia is one of the worst medical staffs ever of all time.
The way they managed Markelle Fultz was just ridiculous.
What they released, what they told Markelle Fultz, what executives had their private meetings with the health the medical staff,
the medical trainers, the trainers,
They're telling Markelle Fultz one thing, they're doing another thing. They're letting him play. They're doing that surgery, and the fluid in his shoulders. Now he had to change up his whole shot. Yeah. And I think it's the medical staff's fault.
That's why you got to come to Boston, man. You have the best
medical staff.
We have the best everything right here, man. MGH, man. MGH. Bringing in women's. You have all the doctors. MIT, Harvard. You got everything up here for everybody. So you got to come here to Massachusetts.
I mean, they flew David Ortiz into Boston because Boston has the best medical care in the
They
country.
literally took David Ortiz on a deathbed down in the DR and brought him right to Boston as fast as they could because everything's trusted.
And people don't want to play here. Come
Come
on.
So we can keep. Look at Tom Brady. He's still playing at 41 years old. There's probably a reason why. It's because he's in the New England market. That's why he could play for so long.
Might be the avocado ice cream, but,
yeah.
But I think I was when Markelle Fultz got traded to the Magic a while back this season. It was for like Jonathan Simmons and then like a future first rounder, and I think maybe a second rounder. Regardless, I was thinking about. I was like, wait, so the Celtics essentially just traded for Romeo Langford, Jason Tatum for Jonathan Simmons and a first rounder that's not going to be anything. That's just Danny Ainge again, just absolutely pantsing another team. Like I think honestly, down the road that might be better than the.
I think Romeo Langford's going to be a beast.
KG trade. It might get up there.
I disagree. I think all the draft picks this year are not going to be good.
You don't think so?
Because you look at their player numbers: 29, 40, 45, 51. I don't.
Yeah,
like
they
those
have
numbers.
they have terrible.
The weirdest numbers out there. I just don't like them, dude. Like,
sometimes I can tell when a player's going to be good by their haircut. Like it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing.
Yeah, the haircut. Yeah, that's why I thought Alfred Payton was going to be the greatest.
They do have terrible numbers. He
never got a haircut ever. He had nappy hair, and he just grew that thing, that overhead pass. He just cut it. He's been playing much better.
He cut it, and now he's playing better.
Because I've seen clips of him shooting.
How can you see when your hair just covering your eyes?
Muscle memory, bro. Muscle memory.
It really is.
But like the Spike King just said, their numbers and stuff. In their defense. The Celtics is the greatest organization ever with the most retired numbers.
I think
we're not a numbers to give.
I honestly
anything. Bob Cousy, Kevin McHale,
I think they should unretire. I think
Paul Pierce.
I think they should unretire some of those numbers because some of those players who are retired up there are literally on the Bill Russell teams, and you gotta
No,
I don't think you can unretire a number.
They should keep
what was his face? Number 35. He's in the rafters. He wanted to unretire his number so Kevin Durant would come here and give him his number.
Was that his proposal?
He was like, dude, I don't freaking belong in the rafters. Like I'm just some guy who's on the Bill Russell teams. Like,
number one, let's keep the Celtics really. Number one, I don't want Kevin Durant here because he's a snake. You took Tom Brady to come out of his day to try to propose for you to come to Boston, and you said, no, I'm going to the Warriors, so screw you. I never want If the Celtics ever got Kevin Durant
I don't want him because
I will be at the Garden and be anti-Kevin Durant, and I will actively root against the Celtics. I do not want him.
I don't want KD
Number
either.
2, for any Celtics fans out there listening, just letting you know, the Bill Russell era is like the Yankees. Don't come out here and say, yeah, we won 17 championships. That was a completely different era. You've won one championship since the 80s. So the last 25 years, pretty much, the Celtics have only won one championship. We are not, if you said, what's a better team right now, Lakers or Celtics as a franchise, it's the Lakers. They've done more. They've done more in the last 2 decades, or the quarter century, I said centuries, quarter century. I'm just saying that Celtics fans, Danny Ainge really hasn't done much too. He's brought people every so often. He has that like one thing, like he got Jason Tatum over Markelle Fultz. You look at Danny Ainge, wow, like that was great.
Kyrie for IT,
but yeah, Kyrie for IT, like that's a great deal. Trader Danny. But Danny, we haven't been to the NBA Finals in the last 10 years. Like, what are we doing?
I honestly don't even think that's necessarily his fault. It's like especially like this year. Danny Ainge got the talent. Like
I think the Celtics have always had that talent.
Yeah, kudos to Danny Ainge for getting the talent this year. Like this team should have done way more, and it's just sometimes the parts just don't gel like at all. Same when the Lakers got what was it like? I think it was like Gary Payton and Karl Malone to verse off against the Pistons. Like they had Kobe, Shaq, Karl Malone, and Gary Payton. Gary Payton and Karl Malone were really old at that time. They were basically ring chasing at that point. But, that team probably should have beat the Pistons. It's just the Pistons were a very well-oiled machine.
Karl Malone did get hurt, too.
Yeah, Karl Malone did get hurt.
It's like when the Celtics got, like, Shaq and Jermaine O'Neal. They brought them in there at one point. It's, like, way past their primes. And, like...
Jermaine O'Neal, I used to like him, man. Have any of you
He was solid on the Pacers.
Yeah, he was great on the Pacers. Got drafted really young too.
Even
as a
Sheet.
17-year-old.
They bring Sheet. Celtics brought Sheet in. They
did bring most technicals ever.
Yeah.
But one thing about Danny Ainge, that this might go contrary to popular belief, I think he should step down. I think Danny Ainge should step down, and because he has been going through some health problems, and when you see him talk, when you see him speak, he just doesn't look all there. I think he got a lot going on. He almost lost his life. Okay, and
he claims it's just a wake up call.
That's what
he's telling to the public. But
claiming.
I think he's personally going through a lot, and his family knows it. And I think it's time for him to step down.
So that's something that GRD actually went on yesterday and said that during the Boston's Big Three podcast. Shout out to Ride the Wave Media. He said that he's had 2 heart attacks now, and it's a lot of stress being in his position. So it's something that he might need to step down at and take a reduced role for his own health and well-being. Yeah. He's done a great job in certain areas, and
I feel like he should take that kind of like general manager type of thing with kind of like Rob Pelinka and Magic, and then obviously not that chemistry because that was terrible and drove Magic out of there. But something like that where you can split the role of the general manager and like both people
give
can have
his
a
Danny Ainge can still be a part of it.
Go home.
I think he should still be a part of it. I agree with it that he shouldn't have all the stress.
Especially if after this season, if you set the team up to be successful for a little while, step down as general manager for a year or two, maybe come back if you when you get everything situated.
Would you rather have say the Anthony Davis thing obviously didn't happen? Would you trade all your future assets, everything, to win a championship now? Like, you're guaranteed to win next year. I'm telling you, you win. Automatically win. And you get to go to another championship on top of that, and it's a 50-50 shot to win it. But then suck for 7 straight years after that. Or always compete every year and be in the playoffs, no guarantees of a championship.
I'd rather always compete.
You want to be the Houston Rockets?
I mean,
it's hard to say because I think I don't want what happened with the big 3, like with Paul. I don't want that to happen again. Like, I obviously want the championship. Who doesn't want the championship? But I don't want the little championship period.
You're guaranteed a ring. Like, you're guaranteed to go to a duck boat parade next June.
Basically,
never guaranteed. Let's just put that there. We're never guaranteed.
No.
The Golden State Warriors were guaranteed champions this year.
I'm saying
the State Warriors were champions. We're guaranteed.
According to you,
it was hypothetical. It's just a hypothetical situation.
I think no.
We get hurt. There's a chance we might get hurt. We could all give it up right now, and just like the Spike King said, trade all our future assets to pick up and guarantee the championship next year. But what happens if an ACL blows, an MCL, a bad ankle, a cold?
That's why I didn't want.
What did Joel Embiid had? Joel Embiid, he didn't feel good. He didn't want to He didn't want to play the playoff game. Joel Embiid was sick. These guys might get sick. You never know. But
Paul Pierce shit his pants and he still came back.
Yeah,
out
he
there.
did in a wheelchair.
Back in my day. One more thing though. So if Danny Ainge just let's say Philadelphia has one more year run, it doesn't work out for them, and they start blowing up their organization to make moves. And if Danny Ainge did step down, would you be willing to pick up a great GM who I think is Elton Brand, a former NBA player, a former short man center, who got rebounds and everything, got Philadelphia situated, came into Philadelphia, changed it around. Philadelphia was going through a bunch of problems with their that Twitter account, the guy on the Twitter account, and he was what was going on? They were saying his wife. What do you know?
It was something.
Yeah, so he came out and he cleaned up. He brought out the broom and he cleaned everything up. And I think he's a great GM. And I think if Danny Ainge does indeed step down, either next year or the year after that, I think that's someone.
I just don't think Danny Ainge will step down.
I don't think. Yeah, I think it's more of a pride thing. It's like
Wick will tell him, "Listen, man." You're my friend. He's going to talk about being his friend. You're my friend. I really think you need to get it together. Go get some help because I think he might have a heart attack while on the Celtics floor. You don't want that.
Yeah.
You don't want that. You don't want him to have a heart attack, lose his life, and his family say it was the workload of the Celtics. So I think he's having crazy health problems right now, and I think he needs to get it fixed.
Yeah.
Good thing he's in Boston.
Yeah.
Good thing he's here.
Good thing
he's got the best medical staff around him.
Yeah.
But any other free agents or anything you need to talk about?
Brooke Lopez.
I think if Brooke Lopez even if he doesn't come to Boston, Brook Lopez, if he doesn't go back to Milwaukee, Milwaukee's going to be not terrible, but they're going to be significantly worse because Brook Lopez is the thing that makes them go around.
It is.
Because he's the guy who clears up the space in the middle of the floor for Antetokounmpo to go because he can shoot the three. Yeah, that's the reason why he clears up the floor.
Passer. His brother Robin, on the other hand, I kind of compare him more to the caveman from the Geico commercial.
Yeah.
Right? He's, just really dumb. And, so Brook Lopez, great addition. One thing I want to add on to that about the Milwaukee Bucks is Pau Gasol didn't get to play this year. That would have been that would have been so fun to watch two twin brothers play against each other. And that we didn't get to see that for the Eastern Conference Finals. We didn't get to see Pau Gasol go against Marc Gasol because Pau Gasol was hurt. But I want to see him have one healthy playoff run next year for the Milwaukee Bucks because I think Pau Gasol is first ballot Hall of Famer.
Pau Gasol in the Milwaukee Bucks?
Yeah.
I thought he was on the Spurs.
No, he was on the Spurs last year.
Oh, did he sign or get traded or something?
I'm pretty sure. We can check it on that, but I think Pau Gasol plays for
Milwaukee Bucks right there was the top. Yep.
Yeah,
That's I didn't read anything about that.
Yeah,
That's
well,
crazy.
he played a couple games, but he stayed out for the Eastern Conference Finals and the final. In the second round.
I look at this list of free agents right now, and one sticks out. So what about Dwight Howard? We just talked about earlier in the
he could be that guy where we can get with that $4 million in extension.
You talk about that podcast. We're talking about how we were talking earlier on the Red Sox about how the home run derby, and we're comparing it to the slam dunk contest.
With Dwight Howard,
and Dwight Howard was a big name at one point in the NBA. He was one of the top guys there. What about? And a lot of bad stuff has come out about Dwight Howard, and he felt like when he went to Lakers, it would have rejuvenated his career, and it didn't. And I just feel like he's just never had that right organization around him to get back to where he was. And I feel like he still has a little juice left in him.
I think he does too.
Who's going to end up taking someone like him?
If the Warriors could sign Boogie Cousins for a 1-year, $5 million deal and him not do anything, I think the Celtics wouldn't lose anything offering.
I think
Dwight
DeMarcus
Howard
Cousins
$5 million.
earned himself a contract this finals, though. He was pretty good.
He didn't. Okay, I respect that.
He had a solid series. Obviously, he's I don't think he's going to be.
Dwight Howard's one of the greatest rebounders of all time, though. Of all time.
Give me Taco Fall. Give me Dwight Howard, and I'm going to be happy because those people that truly know me, I've wanted Dwight Howard on the Celtics for a long, long time, dude. I've wanted him. I've really wanted him. I want big men. And
as Spike King said, we need rebounders. We need more rebounding. We lost in 2010 because of lack of rebounding.
I just want guys that Dwight Howard and a Taco Fall and somebody else that you can at least rotate out there for a rebound. Get boards.
Get boards, man.
Yep.
I don't want
offensive boards.
I don't want small ball, man. I don't want that.
And that's what we were playing at the beginning of the year when we had Kyrie, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Gordon Hayward.
Our tallest player was 6'10".
That was small ball. It didn't work for us.
Small ball works maybe Western Conference. We're talking about the Eastern.
It doesn't work.
We're talking about the Eastern. It's like the DH and pitchers.
Look
dude.
at Milwaukee.
It's different conferences. Give me rebounders in the Eastern Conference to get you to the
shooters
finals.
in the Western.
Yeah, that's fine. That's what it is. Because you look at all those teams in the West. Every time we talk about these players, we're always talking about the West.
Yeah.
We're talking about the West. We're talking about what about the East? What's going to separate the East? East is defense. East is all about defense. It's all about those big guys. That's what I want in the Eastern Conference.
Definitely. The thing about Kyrie and players like Steph Curry and these point guards who are quote unquote franchise players those guys who lead to NBA championship teams. Name one guy other than Isaiah Thomas the Pistons Isaiah Thomas that has been the number one guy and he's a point guard that leads them to a championship team. A point guard that's led a championship team.
In a Michael Jordan-less league, yeah. Michael Jordan was playing MLB. If he was there, trust me, we wouldn't have this conversation about Isaiah Thomas leading his team to a championship because that'd be utterly.
He led it before Michael Jordan was
They're back at the Pistons.
The 89 and 90 Pistons. Those the back-to-back championships, and then Michael Jordan finally beat them, and then that's what their thing started. But point guards have never been the leaders of the team. I mean, Magic Johnson, but Magic Johnson was 6'9". He's basically a small forward. I guess you could say Steph Curry, but again, there's
Finals MVP.
Again, there's an asterisk.
Chauncey Billups.
Chauncey
Billups.
Yeah.
You know, he had Ben Wallace. Ben
Could-
Wallace couldn't hit a 15-footer for his life.
I mean, Ben
He had
Wallace.
rebounders. See, two
Rebounders.
rebounders. Rashid and Ben Wallace, two great rebounders.
Rebounders.
He had a nice shooter. The guy with the mask. What's his name?
Warriors, Draymond Green.
Hamilton. Richard
Rich
Hamilton.
Hamilton?
Rich Hamilton.
Who else did who's the center for the Warriors during their championship?
Bogut.
Bogut. Rebounding. Shaq. Rebounder.
Number 2 pick, right? Number
But
1 pick.
Spurs. Tim Duncan.
But answer me this about the
rebounding.
2004 Pistons. Could they have won the championship without Ben Wallace? No. Could they have won a champion? Could they have
They
a?
beat the Los Angeles Lakers.
I know, but could they have won that championship without Chauncey Billups? Yes, they couldn't have won it without Ben Wallace because Ben Wallace.
Chauncey Billups was running that team. Chauncey Billups. Oh my God, I can't believe you're saying this. Chauncey Billups was running that team. Pull up his stats. 04 Chauncey Billups. Pull up his stats.
I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm just saying.
I'm saying they wouldn't have won without him. They would have won without him. And
Like,
if Ben Wallace wasn't playing, they wouldn't have won.
If you can have another comp as Chauncey Billups, just like a good guard, but the big man it's forwards and center. Basically, my point is it's forwards and centers who win you championships. Those are the guys who win you championships.
Chauncey Billups won for the Pistons in 04, just like Isaiah Thomas won for the Pistons in 89 and 90.
But the point is,
yeah.
But my point is, it's a rare occasion that the point guard will run your team. It just doesn't happen.
Pretty much it.
So Chauncey Billups, it was 03 to 04 is when they won that year. So we're looking at 03 to 04 stats. He was 27 years old. He started in 78 games, played in 78 games.
It's a lot.
He averaged 35 minutes in those games. Just scrolling over here, let's see where his points are. We got free throws. Come on, why do I have to scroll all the way over here? Points. So it was 03 04, 16.9 points a
16,
game.
and next year again.
I mean, no, he kept like he did it consistently.
Yeah.
Like, he was consistent.
Yeah.
But
And that's what you do want out of a point. But my point, he wasn't like that insane scoring point guard. But my point is, you can have a point guard who can distribute the ball, and you can still win championships.
Yeah.
Like Rondo. Rondo was a perfect point guard for that Celtics team.
It's hard. You have to have excellent shooters. Like 08, Paul Pierce was an excellent shooter.
Yeah.
08, Ray Allen was an excellent shooter.
Excellent.
But let's look at Chauncey Billups and that finals, because now you want to bring it up against the Lakers. There was a 5-game series that they 1, 2, 3, 4, 5
games against Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah.
They won. But listen, they won 4-1. 4-1
A gentleman's
right there.
sweep.
Chauncey Billups, 22 points, 27. He got 27 points in a loss. 19, 23, 14.
Yeah, those are great numbers right there. Led his team to the
Solid
championship
numbers.
as a point guard. Led his team without any good shooters,
But my point,
rebounders.
Chauncey Billups, Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
Out of the
agree.
entire
I
NBA
So basically,
history.
that's a 0.5% chance of that ever happening. Because there's only 2 players
Yeah.
out of 100 years.
And
of
I
basketball.
honestly put an asterisk over the one they won against the Warriors' first championship in that dynasty, with Kevin Love and Kyrie both being out. Like, you have to put an asterisk over that because first of all, Curry didn't win the Finals MVP that year, and like you don't have Kyrie Irving or Kevin Love you should win that championship. And they got forced to 6 games in that championship too.
Matthew Dellavedova, man. Deli.
Curry stopper.
Yeah. The Curry
Deli,
stopper.
the Curry stopper. Oh, man. He's in Milwaukee, too, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yes.
Yeah, he runs
Yeah.
Milwaukee, yeah. He's a great... I liked him, man. I hated him at the time, but looking back at it now, he did what he could.
He really is like a Marcus Smart
I
type
just
of
want to
player.
say another thing about big men because it just made me think. Tristan Thompson, rebounder.
He's a superstar. He's a Hollywood superstar now. After the Khloe Kardashian, you don't want an ex-Kardashian on the Boston Celtics.
I'm just saying.
Look at Chris
I'm
Thompson.
just
we don't need
saying.
those.
In
player.
terms of winning championships, and the reason why he even got paid is because he was a big guy that got those rebounds.
Yeah, but
and he was averaging double.
LeBron made him be a big guy and made him get those rebounds because if LeBron wasn't on that team, I guarantee you Tristan wouldn't have prospered the way he did.
I'm just saying.
LeBron puts his players to work.
Yeah.
He puts his player to work. I'm sorry.
No, I agree. I'm just saying about big men.
Yeah, but if you bring in Tristan
That's
Thompson,
why the Lakers are going to win the NBA Finals because they have Anthony Davis. Like,
bring
that's
in-
why.
And LeBron.
If you bring
And
Tristan-
LeBron.
If you bring Tristan Thompson to Boston, he won't do anything.
No, he wouldn't. No, I
He
agree.
wouldn't do anything. He wouldn't even get rebounds because he'll be chilling.
Yeah.
He won't have a guy telling him what to do. LeBron's like a Kobe. You ever see Kobe in practice sometimes? He'd be yelling at players to get in your zone, make sure you're doing your job. Kind of like Bill Belichick.
Another free agent would be Marc Gasol, I think he wants out and he wants to get paid.
You think so? He wants out of the championship team?
I think he was saying
I thought he was going to pick up his option.
He already got overpaid in Memphis. I don't know why he wants to get paid even more.
No, I thought he was.
I thought I heard reports of him going to New Orleans possibly, or possibly a sign and trade. That's what it was. I think it might have been a sign and trade.
Yeah.
Would you do a sign and trade for Marc Gasol? What the price would be. I'm thinking of like salaries on the team right now. I don't know who we'd have to give up for salary, but regardless, like, what if it was possible, would you get him, and what would you give up for him?
I'd give up a lot for Marc Gasol. I think Marc Gasol can hit great from range. He's a great rebounder, one of the highest IQs in the league. Former defensive player of the year. I'm willing to give up Al Horford, and whatever they're paying Al Horford, I'll just hand it right over.
Yeah.
So
well, I think Al's didn't Al already opt out?
Already opted out. Yeah,
he already opted out. So we couldn't do a sign and trade unless we like sign him back for $10 million. But if we're signing him back for like $10 million a year, then I just keep him. I wouldn't even try to trade him because we don't want to pick up Marc Gasol's contract. I don't even know what he's making. He's making like a good amount of money though this year.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah. Also, one last thing before we let you guys go.
Trevor Ariza, we haven't spoke on him yet.
Trevor Ariza, Malcolm Brogdon. I think he could be a really good player on this team. What would your max be to?
I think if we're getting Kemba though, then
if we don't get hypothetically, say Kemba's not an option anymore. Malcolm Brogdon, how much money would you give him to outmatch Milwaukee?
Well, how much are they giving him now?
I think the ballpark range for them would be $15 million, so they can sign back Chris Middleton. But I think my absolute max would be $20 million because you don't want to pay that guy to not know if he's 100% going to be good. But I think Malcolm Brogdon is going to be really good. I think he's going to be a really solid player. I think he'd fit right in with the Celtics culture. He's a hustle player. He can shoot the three. He can distribute the ball well. He's a rookie of the year. I said he was going to be rookie of the year. The year it happened, I was like, I saw the buzzer beater against the Celtics. And I was like, this guy's for real. Like he's going to be like really good.
Shot.
Yeah, he's a big shot type of guy, and I think he'd be a really good addition, especially like to help Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown take the reins and have Malcolm Brogdon, be that ball distributor.
I agree.
Yeah. But any other players you want to touch on?
No.
I think we got everybody. I think we got everybody.
I know you kind of killed this list here.
Yeah. We
and there's still tons more.
Yeah, there's still a ton more.
But you go through every single one. You had how many names?
We could talk
45 names.
You had 45 names, and you could just. That's like 30 minutes per name.
Yeah, we could talk about this for hours, but I think we'll stop it there.
Now on to the Patriots.
Yeah, now on to Patriots for the next episode. So that'll do it.